toys and TV shows, comics and collecting and superheroes. There's no end to the useless stuff they know. But don't call them geeks, they're just regular Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant. I get to say and. I haven't got to say and for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks without it, where we haven't just been the three of us.
Okay.
Exactly. Not that we didn't like to be with other people, but so we're going to do a little 2019 recap.
Yeah.
Why not? So let's go random before it gets out of control. Barry, what do you got?
John Kasdan tweeted this mystery tweet the other day of a picture of what looked like a painter's cap from the 80s with an illustration of Willow on it and not much else. But it is now meant to, I think what we're meant to take away from that is that they are starting a writer's room for a Willow TV series. We've heard rumors of it for a while, but it appears that they are in production or in pre-production or something. They're writing. And as much as I love the Willow movie, I never felt like I needed more. But
I don't even know if I've ever seen it more than once or remember it at all.
Okay, I have never seen the Willow movie.
Okay, good.
Seriously?
I will now admit I've never seen it because I don't even, why would I want to see that?
Because it's a great movie.
It's
legitimately good.
This is the age thing, Barry. I think you're in the zone where it was a great movie, but I think if you were 2 years older, not so much.
Mad Mardigan? Come on. Willow?
Who?
Mad Mardigan is Val Kilmer's character.
Oh, Jesus. Oh. Okay, let me ask you this.
Laura Dannon,
Never Ending
baby?
Story. Great movie?
Never seen it.
Never seen it. Okay.
You guys have to watch Willow. You have to.
Okay.
That might have to be our next drinking
I will
podcast
tell you,
then.
I have never seen Willow, The Never-Ending Story, or Legend.
Legend is so bad that you have to see it.
But I'm
it's
just
Dave
saying,
Boy, Tom Cruise.
I have never gone there. So
No, you should see Legend.
And I am telling you now, Willow is not
Ridley
in that
Scott.
category. It's a better movie than those two.
Well, Never Ending Story has nothing to do with either one of those. I just threw that out. But
It's Ron Howard. It's Lucasfilm. It's
Ron Howard.
It's great stuff.
But Tom Cruise is in Legend, you know.
yeah, and he's
There's a unicorn in it
bizarrely
too. That doesn't make me want to
anything
watch it.
So
It's not good. Mia Sara.
okay.
Tim Curry's
could-
in it too.
that
There's
could
good
tip me.
talent in there. It's just a shit movie.
Ridley Scott. It's Ridley Scott. It's not a good movie, but it's dense. It is a dense
All right,
movie.
don't pick up a Glass Skull. But I'm telling you, Willow's a really good movie. You need to watch it.
I have to pick up.
We
the
are
Glass
not
Skull.
in a position to present evidence against that. So
you
That's
say
right.
the words Mad Mardigan, and we're supposed to know what that means. If I were to say the word Iceman to you, do you know what that
I
means?
don't know what Iceman means.
Okay, that's Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer's been in 2 movies:
Okay, wait a minute.
Iceman and I'm Your Huckleberry.
Oh, come on.
He's been in a few more than that.
Tombstone. What else has he been in that's worth seeing?
My Science Project.
Todd, what else has he been in? I'll maybe give you Heat, and he's not even that good in that.
Okay.
He's a legitimate movie star in Willow.
Kiss
He's really
Kiss
good.
Bang Bang is good.
He's good in that too. Yeah.
No, I can't get myself
Okay,
to say Batman. The Batman movie. I just can't do it.
no.
No, you can't.
No.
Tombstone.
Tombstone. Yeah, I gotta say Tombstone. He's very good in Tombstone. So
I'll give
You know what else
give
he's
you
really
Top
good
Gun
in?
2, even though it's not out yet.
He's really good in Willow. I'm telling you, you need to see it.
All right.
okay. Top Secret.
Todd, what do you
Top
got?
Secret is my favorite Val Kilmer film.
Okay.
There you go.
So
Do you have random?
me,
Yeah.
I can't tell you who you're looking at. So your positions
Oh,
are different
sorry.
than mine. Yes. The CW has renewed everything they can possibly renew.
Yes, I read that today
Once
too.
again.
Everything.
and early for some of these things apparently, but
The only thing they haven't officially renewed is a show that apparently hasn't even premiered yet. But other than that, they renewed everything.
And they probably will renew that as soon
Keen,
as
that comes out in February.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, good
which
for them.
is
Stuff's
good.
working for them.
I will continue
Oh, wait,
watching
everything? Wait. Not Arrow, right? I mean,
No,
Arrow's
Arrow,
done.
obviously, no.
I know, but
Arrow's
everything
being
that was
replaced-
renewable.
It
Not
looks like,
Supernatural.
based on what they're saying, Arrow's being replaced by the Superman series. So,
ugh,
But anything that they haven't
unput
already
that
ended.
thing already sucks.
Everything that hasn't ended has been renewed.
okay, I am going to reserve judgment on the Superman thing. I'm actually looking forward to that. So,
I hear Val Kilmer's going to be in it. He's going to be great.
yes, it will be great.
I would see that.
Yeah.
Fat Superman. It'll be fat. I wonder if he got in shape for Top
He's
Gun.
not
You
in
haven't
either
seen-
of the trailers.
You haven't seen anything on him.
I mean, they showed Anthony Edwards, for God's sakes.
He's dead.
But
How
he was in
they
the...
showing him?
Wasn't he in the trailer? I thought I saw him.
I don't think so.
Somebody that looks just like
how
him,
would he
man.
be in this movie?
Maybe it's his child. Did he have a kid?
No, I think the story is partially
About his kid.
His kids
So
growing
that
up.
must be who I
And
saw
it's
that looks
played
just
by,
like him.
Isn't it played by the dude who was in Whiplash? That guy
Oh,
who
maybe.
played Reed Richards?
There
think.
was a character in the
not
trailer that
sure.
looked an awful lot like him, and that's what made me say that. But
I'll look that up.
I knew that character was dead. I don't know why I didn't connect the dots, but I'm not nearly as big of a Top Gun fan as you guys are. So
You saw his head hit the thing, and they had a funeral. That you could.
I barely
you know,
remember-
be
I
a
honestly
fan, you
barely
know?
He's
remember
also-
the details of
Anthony
Top Gun.
Edwards is also dead in ER. What isn't he dead in?
Everyone's dead in ER. The ER took place in a snow globe.
no,
that was
a
St.
different
Elsewhere.
one.
Saying elsewhere. I know.
I think ER might still be on the air.
Somewhere.
No, Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's
is, and
Anatomy
like
is the one
season
that's
20.
going. Yeah, it's
Same
ridiculous.
show. Okay, I'll go. There is rumors that Christian Bale is in talks to be in the next Thor
Yes.
movie.
Yeah, I read that.
That could be interesting. Him jumping over to the Marvel.
Depends on which character he's going to be, but he's a great actor. So
I mean, I feel like it's. I mean, I don't really know many Thor characters, whether they're villains or not. I wonder if it's someone new or whatever. So, be interesting. That's a pretty, that's a pretty big name.
It'd be a
to
good get. It would.
Throw in here.
Yep.
So, that was just a quickie. Barry, you have anything else?
yeah, I just wanted to quick commentary on the world that we live in today as a Star Wars
Oh,
fan.
boy.
I
Oh, I thought
Okay,
it was
I'm
going to be
gonna
something like
I'm gonna
the
go get a
Golden
drink.
Globes.
Hang on.
No. It's just that I knew we were recording tonight. I do what I usually do. I there's certain websites I hit to just see, what's going on, to grab random stories. These were 3 headlines I saw today that I did not read the articles on. I'll save the best for last. One was how a Star Wars fan learned to stop worrying and accept not liking Rise of Skywalker. That was one article. The next one was, did you happen to notice the new Star Wars in the new Star Wars? It features horses galloping around in deep space. Mind you, they were in the atmosphere. They were not in deep space. But my favorite was, and I'm sorry this is not suitable for work, when exactly did Palpatine fuck? Was the headline on a IO9 Gizmodo article.
He
Okay.
was an ambassador. Those guys do. He's doing the frog.
Have you
Man and
ever read a
everybody.
more
He's got everything going
clickbaity
on.
headline ever? I mean, they literally put profanity in the title of the headline. They never do that. Like,
That's ridiculous. Like, what does that have to do with anything?
I'm sorry. Like,
Okay.
The dude was the
so Barry, now
chancellor.
let me comment on the nature of the internet. Okay.
Please
you
do.
did not actually open those articles. Okay. But the whole point was to get you to open those
Clickbait.
articles. So they say
Exactly.
the most clickbaity thing they possibly can to get you to open the article, which then generates a click, which they can then report to their advertiser as you having read
I
something
understand.
I'm applauding your restraint and not actually going further.
I
So-
wanted to read the one about the horses in deep space because I wanted to comment and correct them, but I'm sure there were 5,000 other fanboys that did.
Oh, I wanted to read the one about the old
But now you're
wrinkly
going to
dude's
get
sex
a
life.
million
but,
ads
hey,
for Metamucil.
So,
I just couldn't believe that they actually put the F word in the title
I'm sure,
of
but
the
again,
the
it's-
headline.
They
Who
look
was
at
it, like
these
Vox
are
or one of these
No,
articles.
it was IO9.
places.
It was like a
Yeah.
pop culture
I don't know.
website.
You also
Another
look at some of their
smug-
year best movies things. It's pretty scary. But these things, these are sites that these articles are written based on algorithms that show what people click. So, it's not journalism.
Yeah, I know.
No.
But anyway.
Let's talk about something more interesting.
Yeah.
So, in my sickness, like I told you guys before the show, I've watched many episodes of Star Trek Next Generation. You know what? One of the things I noticed was, I don't know why I never really paid that much attention. Wesley had a different colored communicator deal.
Yeah.
His was all silver.
Because those were actually rank pins. That's considered.
No, they weren't.
No, I'm saying the communicator, okay, took the place of the patch on the original series. The communicator is considered a Starfleet rank pin, and that's why he didn't have a gold one.
I thought the pips were the ranks.
I'm saying the pin means you're in Starfleet. Okay, the pips mean you're rank, but I'm saying it's part of your your.
No, I understand why, but I never thought that was interesting. And then I'm like, not that we're doing a ton of prop collecting and stuff. There were a ton of communicators.
Yes.
And I wonder, like, where are they? What do they go for? And are Wesley's the most rare because they had the fewest of the silver ones?
Yeah.
Does anyone know it? I mean, I have one from the movies. Or no, I have the next one that I got after they changed it. Not the round original ones. That was, I paid $135 for it at a Paramount store back in the day. So I guess they start, it's one of those things like, had I realized I would have bought all of them at the time.
Well, were they, is it resin or is it metal?
It's resin.
Yeah.
No, this is what, Jonathan Frakes signed this one.
Yeah.
The thing. But, we talk about what's an easy entry into getting something that there's a lot of. Certainly, original series, I know I was bidding on them. They went for $5,500 at an auction. But these things seem pretty plentiful, and I'm wondering if like a Wesley one would be harder to get and worth more money.
Probably, but I think the character of Wesley is also not everybody's favorite, so that could actually drive.
Didn't appear in as many episodes,
and
there's probably not as there was maybe a dozen of them. It was also
probably
a
also
thing,
spray painted over it and reused
right, I was just going to say,
may not be
it was
any.
also a thing that was frequently given away as a gift to like the writers and stuff like that. And I bet his weren't the ones that were ever given away, so I bet those are pretty rare.
That's what I'm wondering. I would like to, if someone has the original, I don't know when they changed them, probably season 5-ish,
Deep Space Nine was when we saw when they did Deep Space Nine, was when we saw the vertical thing, or the horizontal
Not the vertical,
thing.
the square. It's like the little the triangle.
Right, yeah, when they went away from the thing,
circle.
and then that.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I thought there'd got to be hundreds of those, and I haven't
Brian
really
Mix,
seen
if
one,
you're
I don't
listening,
think.
you probably have one, so send us a picture.
Yeah.
Let us know. I'm sure you're listening. Anyway, that was my random thought in my flu
Haze.
delirium. Anything else before we move on?
I will tell you who's probably got a ton of them. Is
Fanboy Collectibles.
Fanboy Collectibles.
James Cawley is who I was thinking
is,
of. James Cawley? Is that who you're thinking of?
No, stop. From Ronald D. Moore, who took home everything that they threw away. When who also went on to make Battlestar Galactica and whatever.
Yep.
But he's the one who dumpster dove and got the ships from the briefing room.
How would they throw those away?
Because they did, and then he rented them back for them to make the final episode. Just crazy, but yeah,
that was in that 100 hours of stuff we listened to. I remember, but because he was one of the only fans that ever worked on the show.
Exactly, he saved everything, and he says it just blew him away. The stuff they threw away because it was just like whatever, we can make another one.
Yeah. Well, they were probably some of the earliest auctions. They would auction Paramount auctions.
Yeah.
And like I said, they had this store in Chicago. It was a Paramount store that was crazy. It was like a memorabilia store. I mean, they had records and stuff, but they would sell stuff. And I didn't have the forethought to buy like all kinds of stuff. But
Well, the reason I said James Cawley was because he was like, wasn't he Wesley's uniform?
He actually was his. He was the same size, and when he worked on I think the first season of the show, he was basically a dress dummy for Wesley.
Right,
So.
and look, and I don't mean this disrespectfully. If I was him, I would have pocketed everything that wasn't nailed down. He was a fan too.
He may have.
So
he was a fan.
Yeah.
He may have.
Yeah.
But Wesley's costumes were better, and he wore that sweater in the first season, right? I've been watching the episodes where he's in that sort of gray thing that wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on because that's boring. Fanboy Collectibles, check them out. There's a very cool Batman Deathstroke statue, if you're into that kind of thing. Did we talk about this whenever on the show or just in real life? Hot Toys Captain America, they're coming out with the 2012 Captain America from the Avengers.
Yeah,
America's ass version.
Yes, exactly. So based on Endgame, yet based on the Avengers.
It's funny because that's the Captain America that I have, but this is the updated version of it because that's the one in my collection is that from that version.
Yeah, so there's that. There's a ton of Pops, and there's Sideshow, and there's Kotobukias, and there's all kinds of stuff. Check those guys out. After Christmas, you didn't get what you want, or you need more of what you did get, and all that stuff. Just because you got Christmas presents doesn't mean you stop getting stuff.
Exactly.
Yourself, right, Barry?
Exactly, and some of us don't stop even during Christmas.
That's true. So check those guys out, filmboycollectibles.com. Check them out in their store in Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them the Regular Joe sent you. Okay, working through the cloud here. Let's see. Let's go what's in the box.
Show you with the box. Who's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Regular Joe's What's in the Box.
Yeah, I have bought something that's not a gift.
So why don't you tell us about it, Dave?
I'll go first. No, I'm actually fine. I'm joking. So, okay, we definitely talked about the Captain Pike shirt that Todd bought, right?
Yes.
Did we talk about it when you wore it on the show?
I think
we might have mentioned
we might
it.
have.
So, Todd found a place on eBay that makes a lot of Star Trek costumes, and I gotta say, they're awesome. He brought them over during Christmas, and I know I bought a couple different items from this place that's just ridiculous. And when I bought I don't know what we're calling that. They're calling it the Captain Pike shirt.
Right, yeah.
But it could also be the Spock or Kirk shirt from the next pilot, too.
Second pilot.
Well, so when I was ordering mine, I also saw this thing, and I'm surprised you did not buy one of these, Todd, if you saw it. It's the Robin little shuriken thing they make.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, look at that.
It's metal, and it's dimensional on like both sides. It's beveled on both sides, and it's nicely painted. And it's like, I think it's $8.
Okay, yep, no, need that.
Yeah, it did a really nice. I had this on my drawing board to I was going to think of maybe 3D printing it or something, and I don't know what the real one looks like, but for $8,
yeah,
you
no,
should have more
that's
than
excellent.
one of them.
And it's both sides.
It's here's one side. I know people, and here's another side, and see how you can see the light. It's not like flat on one side.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
I don't know how they've made
a lot of
this.
batarangs are like flat on one side, look good on one side, but then they're
the gold one. I gave you one
yes.
of those gold ones. It's flat on one side. That was a fan made thing, but not that.
Yeah, no, I need that for the
this
display case. That's great.
This company, I bought that Pike shirt. It was on sale even when I bought it for $25.
Yeah,
Wow.
And
you can't buy
the
a shirt
pants
for
are terrific.
$25.
I think that's the thing I'm most impressed with. So
yeah,
Yeah, I'm going to be ordering those for my Scotty costume, too. I mean, those pants are great.
Yeah, those are a no-brainer. I mean, no offense to the Novos pants, but they're like $150 if they're in stock.
Which they're
and
not
in stock.
unless you're size small.
And these are what, $30, $35?
And I got to tell you, I looked up the pictures from. I have some of the old Profiles in History catalogs, and I looked up the the fabric looks really good in these things. It looks like the close-up pictures of the fabric with the kind of like flecky, starry stuff in them.
Sparkly stuff, yeah. You never got that on certainly 10-inch black and white television. There was a sparkly material.
But we saw those.
You hardly get it on reruns.
When we went to, what did we see? Where we saw the costumes. And
yeah, at that New York Star Trek exhibit.
And that's what they look like in the cases. So,
yeah. And these are, whether it's the right material or not, that material is comfortable. It's this stretchy sort of
comfortable.
jersey.
They're well made. They're $35. It's like
you really, like you said, you could wear those pants and the Pike shirt as pajamas and be comfortable all day.
I'm not saying
and Dave's been sick,
yes,
so he knows.
You could. Yes, you definitely could. So
yeah.
You mentioned a Novos. I did hear from somebody who would probably know this, that a Novos is apparently setting up in Texas right now. So they are going to be manufacturing in the U.S. to try and deal with all the manufacturing issues they've been having.
Right, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what's in the box. Todd, what's in the box?
So I'm going to see if I can lift this thing.
It's tiny.
This is a Sideshow Batman, the animated series statue. It's about 18 inches tall. Now it's actually about 24 inches tall. It's crazy heavy. I'm getting a hernia right now, so I'm going to set it down.
It's got bats flying around it.
It's got bats flying around it. Ordered it a long time ago. It's from Sideshow. I got it through Troy. Beautiful. Absolutely fantastic execution. Like every Batman statue, he's like on the cornice of a building. And there's gargoyles and stuff, but this has got little bats flying that are actually attached magnetically, which is neat. So if you bump them, they don't snap off. Really, really well executed.
Awesome. Who makes it?
What's that? It's
who makes
Sideshow.
Duh.
Yeah,
yeah.
And it's but really super. They get the proportions down right. It's a great action pose. Really, really excited about this. I pre-ordered a bunch of statues thinking that they'd kind of like be spaced out over the course of the year. They all came in the same time. But it's great. And this is definitely my favorite one. I'll show some of the other ones later. But really, really excited when I heard this had come in. And I guess I collect statues now. So
there you go.
Yeah, really, really, really awesome. So
yeah, you went from having a single statue to having quite a few. This year,
it was
last year.
Largely with this order. There were like 4 boxes. That day I showed you the pictures of all the boxes stacked up. They were, they were there. And so I think what I'm going to do, because I've got so many Marvel Hot Toys and really only a few DC ones, I think I'm going to do DC statues. And because I like the DC comic characters better than I like the live action characters.
A lot of the DC statue lines, all the tweeter head stuff.
That's what I'm saying. There's great DC statues, but the
Batgirl.
Yeah. And I've got another Batgirl ordered. And like I said, I think that's how I'm going to differentiate. So, but anyways, really excited to get this. It is my favorite incarnation of Batman, bar none. And so now I have a statue of it. Barry, what do you got?
I have things that I already owned, but now they're back again. So when we were at New York Comic Con, I had dropped off 2 of my vintage Star Wars figures with a company called AFA to get them graded. And it took a little while, but they did come back. And I've had them for a little while, but I haven't talked about them on the show. So that is my blue Snaggletooth, which is a rare figure. And mine happened to be in really good shape, or at least I knew it was in really good shape when I sent it off to them. And they agreed. So I got that back with a grade of an 85, which is a really high grade.
Oh, good. That's nice.
Yeah, it came back. And these cases that they make for them are great. They're hermetically sealed. They've got the grading in there. I'm not going to go nuts having every figure in my collection graded, but sort of the handful of rare ones or kind of variations or whatever I might. And then the other one, which is a figure I did talk about on the show once before, this was my double telescoping Luke Skywalker lightsaber figure. What I found out from them after they graded it was apparently the tip of the lightsaber is missing like a millimeter. So it's a little short, than it should be, and they took some grading off for that, but it's still got a decent grade. So happy that I have these. This is the kind of thing where you spend a little money to get them graded, and like in the case of the Snaggletooth, that's like a $300 figure loose, and it's like a $700 figure when it's graded in a high grade. So doing this like really increases the value from a resale perspective. So,
but really limit your play options.
It does limit your play options, which is why I wouldn't do it with a figure I wanted to display in a diorama or whatever. But yeah, to have sort of these variations and the rare ones like that, I think is good.
I actually think it'd be kind of fun having Snaggletooth like over in the corner of the cantina in a box.
in a box,
like,
yeah, that's funny.
So. The only other thing I was going to show real quick was, Dave, I think when you got your Lost in Space robot model kit, yours came with the glass dome, right?
Yeah, I ordered the one with the glass dome.
Right, so they don't sell that one anymore, or it's sold out everywhere. But I was able to get the add-on, just the glass dome, and this one, they sell two versions. One is just the dome itself. This one is like everything from the neck up.
Oh.
And so I got the glass dome to go with the one I got for Christmas, so that when I build it, I can build it with the glass dome.
Oh, that's great.
So it just comes with the loose pieces that go into the brain, as they call it?
Yeah, it's like everything from the neck up. It's got all the pieces for inside the brain. It's got the ring that goes around the top of the body. And
why would you need that?
I think for people that had already built, because this kit's been available for like years. So for people that had already built it, you can take it apart from the neck up and replace it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Versus
That's a good
just
idea.
take the glass part off. And I think a lot of people didn't glue this part down anyway because they put electronics in there and they wanted to be able to get in.
Okay.
So I think that they were doing the community of service by selling the whole neck and head.
Yeah, for sure. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I haven't started building the kit yet, but I'm amassing the pieces to do it. So
yeah, me too. It's only been a year.
Mine will be built before yours comes out of the box, is my prediction.
Well, you got to give me some tips. I got to figure it out.
It's like the Falcon all over again.
Yeah, only when I say mine will be built, it's really not mine. I'm building it for somebody else. Isn't that right, Todd?
That's right.
Todd, you could build mine then.
You don't want to see what that looks like.
Moving right along, let's go to, we're going to do a little bunch of different categories, sort of favorite or memorable or important or however you want to define this from the past year. We'll try not to rehash all the stuff we keep talking about, but you never know. So we're just going to sort of go in a round robin of, I'll call out the categories. I have them listed in the way we had them listed in our document. And just like, what's your favorite? What's, whatever. I guess that's it, right? We're trying to be, I read the description when we did this last year. It's like, let's be positive for a change. And
yes, so we're going to talk about, the year that was.
That was after.
Yep.
That was right coming off of Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker, which
No, I'm sorry. No, Rise of Skywalker was good. It's coming off Last Jedi.
Last Jedi.
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago.
Did we talk about this on the show? I re-listened to the Last Jedi episode. If you go back and listen to that one, it's funny.
Don't do that. But anyways, yeah,
it's funny. Episode 219.
Yep. Everybody started off positive, and some of us stayed that way, and some of us went down.
Not start off positive.
Just don't need to go there.
Anyway,
it's like,
let's go. Yeah. Barry, we're going to start with movie.
Okay.
So 2019 movie. And we're not. No one's allowed to do. We're no repeats. So we all have. And I'm gonna. Here's what I'm gonna. When we get the TV show, Mandalorian's off the table.
Oh.
What do you think? No one should have. I meant to text you guys.
No, I think the first person should get Mandalorian. But anyways, Barry, where are you going to start?
Yeah,
it'll be me.
This is really hard. This is hard because I came up with a good top 5 on movies. I have a full 10, but I came up with a top 5. And
is he supposed to talk about
one? Pick one, Barry.
I'm going to talk about one, but I'm giving you my rationale for how I got there. I mean, do you just want me to throw it out there?
Man like that? Okay, go ahead.
Don't challenge my process.
If we didn't, we'd be here all day.
Yeah, I know. But, Rise of Skywalker is the most recent and most memorable in my head. But so I'm going to go with that. But probably not my favorite movie of the year. But I'll go with it.
No, that's a good choice. Yeah. I have that on my list. And let's get Todd go, and then we'll talk about him. a little.
I'm going to go with Avengers Endgame.
Of course.
Yeah, that was my number
choices.
2.
Yeah.
I had both of those down, but I would say if picking one, I put Rise of Skywalker first. That had a much bigger uphill battle. You knew Endgame was going to be great.
Endgame was a victory lap. Rise of Skywalker was a battle.
Was a throwing that round orange ball from one end of the court to the other with 1 second left on the thing,
and having it go in the hoop without touching.
Was.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. I also feel like I feel like there was a lot at stake with Endgame in that they could have not delivered that as well as they did. I really
no way.
do. So
no way. No, both excellent.
Remember,
choices,
we started with very low expectations for the Star Wars film. So.
I mean, a lot of concern, but I think they pulled it off.
Yeah.
So I got to pick something of those because I have some extras. There were a lot of good ones. I'm going to say Apollo 11. I mean, that just came out of a documentary out of nowhere.
That was on my list.
That was my number 3.
Whether we were considering
that was my top 3
or not. Okay.
It's a movie, so I didn't.
But no, that's what I'm saying. But I didn't know whether we were considering
Barry always
documentaries
tries
or not.
to fit the Ewok adventure when we're talking about Star Wars because it was in the movie theater.
Okay, but I think that's brilliant. I've seen that 3 times now.
It's very exciting to watch.
Those were my top 3
I would love to
choices.
see that in IMAX.
Seriously,
and I never have.
Yeah.
So there's other ones. Obviously, we know what we like: Spider-Man and Captain Marvel and stuff. TV show. I'm gonna go Mandalorian. No, Todd, why don't you go TV show?
I'm going to go with The Boys. I absolutely love that. I went in with fairly low expectations, but I recommended it to a bunch of people. No one knew what they were watching, and I think everybody who watched it was very, very pleased with it. Though disturbed.
I'll agree with that. I mean, that didn't have a clue what it was. Someone said, check this out, and it was like, oh my God. And every week you look forward to it. I would definitely put that at the top of my list.
And again, this is the case where it's so, I read the comic and got bored with the comic, and this so exceeded the source material. It was perfect adaptation. They took the best of it and they made it better.
And even if I'm doing it on my own, I would put it ahead of Mandalorian because I love the factor of this. Like, what is this thing? Oh my God, it's great. Mandalorian is like, oh, I hope it's great.
Yeah.
So,
Barry, what about you? Yeah, Mandalorian and The Boys were my top 2. So I would go with my number 3. Oh my goodness, I'm getting cookies delivered. This is fresh out of the oven cookies, by the way. Thank you.
Wow,
that's service right there. My number 3 would be Watchmen.
Yeah,
and I thought after the first episode that I wasn't even going to continue with it, and I stuck with it, and I'm really glad I did because it turned out to be, talk about exceeding expectations. I had very low expectations because I'm such a fan of the book and even the movie, but the series turned out to be great.
Barry, I remember you and I texting back and forth, like, what do you think? You're going to keep going? You're going to keep going? And both of us were very dubious, and that was my number 2. I'm really surprised by that. Blew me away. I don't think anyone has ever taken a piece of source material considered to be sacred the way this is and built on it better. Okay? The Watchmen movie was a literal adaptation of the book. This was take all the little elements that we have, all the little threads that are left undealt with, and work them together, and it was brilliant. And I've been critical of Damon Lindelof before in other projects, but boy, he nailed it on this.
Yeah, and they've done Watchmen comics post the original 12.
Yep.
And they've never lived up to it,
right.
and they've tried to do other things.
And that was my concern, because they held the original too sacred, and they were too afraid of stepping on anything. And this took all those little, like I said, these still disparate pieces, and where you can't say this isn't, there's. I wouldn't say they shoehorned it in there, but they took all those little things and they just made it work. brilliantly, absolutely brilliantly.
100%.
For me, I'm going to go with season 6 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was excellent. No, for me, All Mankind. I know we've talked about it, and we'll probably talk about it on a show.
Yeah, we got
at some
Brian
point.
back.
It was another one of those things where it's like, oh, what's this? Oh, I never heard of it. Oh, that's interesting. And then, like, within 3 days, oh, maybe I'll check it out. It's I could, and it was like, oh my god, this is like awesome. And it was, my space era, Apollo era, just dragged on forever, and interesting stories. And Ronald D. Moore,
Yeah, fantastic. And
did it.
I got to say, I wonder how many people watch this with a full understanding of the history to realize what didn't happen versus what happened. Right. Okay, but I loved every second of it, and
I hope they are. I think they're renewed.
I hope so.
It seems like a niche-y show.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could watch it with the idea of, okay, this is sort of a drama with a 60s sort of science fiction, or not science, space background. But then there's the, people who are really into the history of it, which I don't think there's a ton of us left. But, yeah, character's good. They definitely spent some money on this thing. I mean, like Apple does.
Yeah,
I thoroughly
well done,
enjoyed it.
and we'll dig into it more. We'll
Barry?
dig into it more later because it's worth spending a little time on. So
I haven't watched. I mean, the three of us watched the first episode together, and it was late at night, and I fell asleep. So I need to go back and start from the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah, I really did enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw one other Audible in there because I was surprised how much I loved it, and it's really more of a miniseries. But Chernobyl on HBO.
Chernobyl's great. Depressing as hell,
good.
but
Depressing as hell.
But
yeah, but I did not expect to want to watch that as much as I did either. So
yep, no, really good. If I'm going to throw in, I have one episode left because I've been rationing it, but really super strong season of The Expanse. It's really good. They took the best things from the book and they did it well. You can really see that they spent much more money this season than they have previously. And
thank you, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, and thank you, Jeff Bezos. And there's more coming. So terrific.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing
I haven't
that.
watched it yet, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to book. Todd.
Okay. I just read The Last Wish, which is the first of the Witcher books. I really liked the Witcher TV series on Netflix, and I kind of wanted to know more. The first two books are a series of short stories, and they're excellent and very much part of what we see in the first season. Really, really good. And this is the cool thing about this book is this dude wrote this. Andrei Sapkowski wrote this book and published it 27 years ago. It's number 4 on the New York Times bestseller list today.
Oh wow!
So good on him. And it's been adapted for video games. When they did the video games, people told him that he was selling out and that this was, he wasn't a legitimate author and all this kind of stuff. And this thing is a sensation like it never was before. Watch the series, read the books. They're really, really good.
Cool. Okay, I'll go. And there is no overlaps. I'm going to have, it's a tie with these two Rush books. Making the Planet of the Apes. J.W. Rinsler, we've talked about these giant, thick books that he did for Star Wars. For them to uncover Planet of the Apes from 50-plus years ago is awesome. That they put the money into that. I mean, there's obviously a lot of Apes fans still, and with the new movies, but it's sort of a deep cut to go back that far to do something on that. So I had the most fun, not that I've even read it yet because it's massive, but just looking through all the pages and all the pictures and a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and it's just really super interesting to sit down. That's what I should be doing while I'm sick, instead of watching crappy television.
Well,
So,
I guess
Barry.
I'll talk about a Rush book. I think I mentioned it on the last podcast, but I did get a Rush book for Christmas that just came out this year, called "Walking the Face of the Earth," and it is a chronicle of every live show that the band ever played. Which sounds like
That's
would be
awesome, though.
boring. And you flip through, and in the first couple of years, some of it is their best estimations of what they did, because, you know, it's like before all three members were in the band, it was like, oh, I was in this band in 1968 and I played this high school or this and this. So they even have all that stuff in there. But
How many pages is this thing?
it's it weighs 10 pounds, Dave. It's enormous.
How can it not? I mean, they've been doing it for 40 years.
I mean, Todd picked up his statue and it was heavy. This thing is, you could kill somebody with this thing. It's,
Yeah.
I don't know, the page is numbered. It's got to be, it's almost 500 pages. The thing about it that I really love is that once you get into their sort of proper tours, they list every show, who the opening band was, what the attendance was. There's like a little blurb about literally every show. Somebody must have kept crazy diaries to have all of this information.
No, that's cool, especially if you're a fan of it. I mean, I keep all my ticket stubs, even though I don't go to that many shows, but
I started seeing them back in the early 80s, and I was able to go through and find every single show I went to. And some of them I remembered details like who the opening band was or whatever, but there are anecdotes, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I remember when I took Brandon to see them on one of the last tours. In the opening song, Neil Peart's bass drum pedal broke, and the technician had to like go under, and all of that's written out in the book. And it's like, holy crap, they have like
Wow.
every detail.
Wow.
So love.
That is a ton.
It's
That's
a
crazy.
great book. And then the thing that made me sad was realizing how many shows they played in and around my area that I should have gone to over the years that I didn't. So I mean, I literally saw them on every tour from '82 forward, but there were nights where they would play, you know, the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island, the Garden, and the Meadowlands, and I could have gone to all three, but only went to one. So anyway,
I'm going to slip one other book in, and I didn't pick this partially because I'm only about 10% through it, but this was the Batman book that you got me for Christmas, Dave. It's the Definitive History of the Dark Knight comics, film, and beyond. I have probably over 20 Batman books, and this is amazing. I mean, it's really one of the few things that I've got that encompasses all the different aspects of Batman up until this point, and a lot of the other things are more focused. But there's just it's a super entertaining book, really really good, a lot of neat stuff in it. And if you know anybody that's a Batman fan, you should buy him this book. So really good.
Similarly, I haven't read the Han Solo book that you got me yet, Dave, but I have flipped through it.
No.
There are pictures in that book, and I have seen. We've all seen so many behind the scenes photos over the years, but there's hundreds of photos in there that I've never seen before. Like really awesome
Cool.
stuff.
It's good
Like
when people are up in the game on some of this stuff.
Like they take a classic photo of like Chewbacca and Han Solo under the Millennium Falcon, but they show like 15 photos from that photo shoot.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like
that's
all
cool.
different
awesome.
poses, all different expressions. Really cool stuff. So
Neat. Okay, next is Tool. I put Tool in here, but it could be anything. It could be a music tool or a computer tool or whatever. Who wants to go? I have to get mine. So
I'll go.
Todd.
I'll go.
Okay, go. Barry, go.
It's sort of a tool. This is the most recent airbrush I bought. I know you guys got me one for my 50th birthday, but I did get an updated model. It's an Iwata Revolution. It's a much more higher end version of the sort of traditional dual action gravity feed airbrush, but
Does it work better? Because
it does. It works a lot
the
better.
one I have is definitely, I'm having issues with it.
Yeah, I mean, it was, look, that one was a great starter one,
It's
but
a great starter.
But this one is like a whole nother level. Like it just
That's what's so funny, because an airbrush has, I don't know, maybe it has like 8 parts, but you could buy one for $20 and you can buy one for $300.
yeah. This one
So
was
I
in
guess
the
like anything
$100-ish
else.
dollar range.
Yeah, I got to check that out because
but
mine
it's-
is definitely
Yeah, it's great. So very happy with it.
yeah. Cool. Todd, what do you got?
Okay, this is this little tiny thing that I've got here is a thumb drive, and I mean thumb drives aren't that interesting. We've had them for a while, but this thumb drive is awesome for one particular reason. It's about an inch long, maybe a little about half an inch wide. Okay, it flips over so that it's USB-C on one end and USB on the other, regular straight USB on the other. Okay,
it's so small that you wouldn't think there's any storage in there.
This is 128 megabytes or gigabytes. This USB-C is a really, really good thing until it's not, and it's really great being once ultimately this is on everything, but in the meantime we're in the point where I'm forever having a device that I just need to transfer something to a USB-C device and it's on a thumb drive or whatever. This is really, really helpful. The current generation of iPads will read a USB drive, a USB-C drive, and so this is it. I can swap files back and forth between any computer and my iPad this way. Just super, super helpful. Basically, when I put a file in this, I can plug it into any computer, and I use it a couple of times a day every day.
That's cool. That's smart.
So yeah, really,
that
really,
thing is
really
so
good.
small. I would worry about losing it. I can't believe how small that is.
It's super, super tiny, and like I said, but it's like I said, been super, super useful. And I got a super cheap thing too that I'm going to mention that I use absolutely all the time. I don't know if I've ever mentioned these, but this is a zip tie, but this is a reusable zip tie. And they're like maybe 4 times the price of regular zip ties, but it is so incredibly useful being able to undo a zip tie and then redo it again for cords and cables or just holding something in place. I keep one of these in my bike bag. There's a lot of repairs you can do with a zip tie when you're on the road. And like I said, you can buy them in like 10 packs or something, but it's just one of those things that's amazingly helpful as a tool when you can take it off and put it back on again. Even has first aid applications. So when you cut a finger or whatever, it's be good to hold something on there. But anyways, so that's my cheap thing. Dave, what do you got?
Cool. This is something I saw on someone's end of the year list that I didn't even know there was such a thing. It's a little big. This is a cordless glue gun.
Yep.
Oh wow!
Is it good?
I haven't used it that much, but it is. I've used it a couple times. It works. I've got maybe 4 glue guns. They are okay. The cord is always a problem, especially you're moving. I've been building a lot of homeless cat shelters, and hot glue stuff. I make them out of coolers for this rescue place, and I'm always gluing stuff, and it's a pain in the neck. The glue guns don't sit down; they always fall over, and when you have the little thing to hold it up, it's in the way,
and it collapses.
And the cord's never long
enough. So that stands up by itself. That is the best thing in of itself.
There's a heating element in the handle.
No, so what this is now you could go a couple ways with this. You buy this piece. This is super light. This then goes onto this is a Ryobi 18-volt drill battery. I do not and would not use Ryobi tools, but that's fine.
Yeah, but those are cheap. Those are cheap to get.
They're cheaper. But so what you can get this, it also comes with, you could buy it with an adapter, and I think they make it for DeWalt, Milwaukee, and Makita. That you could use those batteries. The only problem with that was the way the adapter works with those batteries makes it a very awkward shape. So I've sort of just switched over to Milwaukee drills recently because they're way better than the Makitas I've had. But for the $59 to buy this battery and a charger, it just sits so much better and is much more compact. And like you said, these are cheap batteries.
And those are on sale a lot. So, yeah.
Home Depot sells this Ryobi stuff all the time. It's their own brand.
Right, yes. Yeah.
So, again, the whole thing, involved is like $80, which is a lot for a glue gun. But if you did want to stick with your battery that you have already, you could buy this piece and the adapter for about $35.
So two things with that, Dave, is one, having it be cordless is great. Two, having it stay upright on its own is unbelievable. I can't tell you how many times.
So the cordless battery it powers a heating element inside?
Powers the heating element, yeah. Cool. And it supposedly lasts for like 4 hours. I mean, you're never hot gluing shit for 4 hours. I mean, even when I'm doing a lot, I'm doing it for maybe an hour.
That's awesome.
This is a company called Sure Bonder, which is good because I'm like I need a cordless glue gun, and a lot of the things they have are these mini glue guns.
I've looked at
that
those.
Sort of sit on a stand, and then you take them off. They stop heating, but while you're using them, it's just this is. I'm excited about.
That's
this.
great.
And it's not even that heavy.
We need one of those for the
Ryobi
office.
batteries are light. Yeah, you need that. Anyway. So that's the tool. Okay. What are we going? Oh, electronics. Todd, what do you got?
Okay. I'm going to go with the 11-inch iPad Pro, okay, which fits really the USB-C thumb drive I just talked about fits really nicely in there. This thing, I've had a bunch of iPads. I probably had every iPad, and I use them for work all the time because we have an iPad program at our school. This thing has kind of hit, and part of it's the new the iOS operating system, but it's kind of hit that sweet spot where it can now do everything that you ever needed it to do and kind of felt like it should, where you can read external files on it by plugging in the thumb drive. You can use a mouse with it. Which I do a surprising amount. You can use a remote with it when you're when you're projecting from it. It's got a fast enough processor. The pencil works great with it. It's just like I said. It's kind of the ultimate state of the iPad. I think we're probably within a stone's throw of this being what iOS, like the Mac and iOS kind of merging. I can do a whole lot of what I do on this device. Bizarre number of times, I will find myself remoting into a Windows computer or a Mac with this thing and just running another computer remotely and doing whatever task that I need to do. Right in this thing that fits in my bag and has 10 hours worth of battery life. It's like I said, it's pretty amazing. If you have an older iPad and you're thinking about maybe getting a newer one, I think this is a really good level, and super pleased with it. So that's my my tech thing. So.
Cool, Barry.
Well, I'm going to say the iPad. Listen to me. AirPod Pros that I got for Christmas.
Yep.
Although I did have trouble with them tonight trying to get them to work to use for the show. But other than that, they've been great. They're smaller than the original ones. They do noise canceling that the original ones didn't do.
You know what your problem is? Close the
Close
case.
the case.
We just stopped.
Did it just?
We just stopped. You just cut your sound off
Did it really?
when you opened it.
Can you hear me now?
Stand by for this technical difficulty. People.
I'm not going to open the case anymore.
It's great when someone's praising a piece of technology is interrupted by that piece of technology taking control of their computer.
Am I back?
You're back.
Yeah, now you're
okay.
back.
Yeah. Okay. So they're great for pairing with my phone. They worked great when I was using them with the computer the other night, but clearly they I think that any device they've been paired to wants to pair to them as soon as they're in proximity.
Yeah.
So, which is great when you're trying to do something like that. I worked from home yesterday. I used them for conference calls, and they were fantastic for that. So really, really cool. I'll have to figure out how to work them into our podcasting, if at all, into our podcasting.
I have them on my list too, and I got to agree. And I've not been happy with my whatever headphones. I've used over the ear headphones. I've used other cordless headphones. I've used cord. I just have not been happy with using them. I predominantly use them with a tablet to watch stuff, and these are dramatically better.
I took him to lunch with me today and was sitting just eating tacos and listening to a podcast, which is something I would never do with wired headphones while I was eating lunch. But to be able to do it that way was great.
Yeah.
No, I that's what I had, but I could pick something else too. But I'm really happy with them, and for me the biggest thing is those little rubber tips, because the way they fit is way better than the other AirPods.
Oh yeah, I couldn't use the other ones, and Apple earphones never fit my ears right because I have weird shaped ears. But
yeah. Now, for what am I picking? For me, electronic. I mean, I'm looking at you guys on my 27-inch iMac. You can't go wrong with this. We've gone on and on about these things, so they're awesome.
Yeah,
told you.
We love Apple, people. Sorry. If
apparently,
you don't like Apple,
yes. We went the whole Apple block
make a
on
good
this.
product. I don't care if they're.
It actually kind of like the whole
pillaging.
spectrum of size too. We got something that fits in the palm of your hand, something you can carry around with you, and something you definitely can't. So.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I've got my iPhone on the desk, and I've got my MacBook Air on the desk. Yeah, I'm a Mac fanboy.
We're such pathetic sellouts, but yeah, I got to tell you though, it's figure. Like, this is what I do for a living, and I deal with everybody else's computers, and I use a lot of different computers and tablets and stuff like that. The shit's expensive, but it just works. And I the other day, I took a $1,500 Windows computer out of my backpack. 6 hours after I put it into my backpack, and the battery was empty again because when I put it to sleep, it didn't stay asleep and the battery ran out. And it's like, I can pick up an iPad from 3 weeks ago and it's got 95% battery left. If it was fully charged, and they do shit right. I got to give them a lot of credit for that. And, so.
And don't even start me on when you can't remember the password on a Windows machine.
Don't go there.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, let's go action figure. I'm going to go action figure. That was tough. It's funny. I looked into my main Hot Toys thing, and there weren't a lot of new ones. I guess I don't think I got a ton of new ones, but I did get new Star Wars ones. I got to pick Hot Toys Obi-Wan, my favorite young Obi-Wan, my favorite Star Wars character. And they just did a great job. I mean, they're, down to where, his hood is just this super thin material that drapes the right way, as opposed to, they were using flannel on the older ones that just doesn't work in that 1/6 scale, form.
So it's like microfiber or something.
I've got that one too. It's microfiber, and it's got a wire in it, so you can really get the right.
Yeah, it's great.
They've just done such a great job, so it was nice to,
I have it, and I have yet to take it out of the box, so I'll do that soon.
No, they did a nice job with that.
So,
Todd, what do you pick?
I went back and forth between what I thought you were going to pick was the Spider-Man, the Endgame Spider-Man with
Iron
the
Spider?
the Iron Spider, and Thor, and so. But I'm going to go with Thor from
Ragnarok.
Thank you. Not Ragnarok. No, not Ragnarok.
Infinity
War. Thank you.
Oh, that's Infinity War? Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is Infinity Thor. It's just an awesome figure, and it
awesome
comes
figure,
with
especially with the
two different sets of arms.
The thing.
He's got the
Stormbreaker.
He's got the eye he's got the eye patch. His eyes glow. They light up. And then he's got these little lightning effects that you can put on him, which I never did and never will. But there's probably very few Marvel figures that have as many different ways that you can configure it as this one does. And I just really, really like the figure. I got it, and I think he sat on my desk for like 2 months. I liked it so much. It's got a great look to it, and they did a really super job with it. So would be my. I think that'd be my favorite. But like I said, I really like the Iron Spider as well.
Yeah, cool. Barry,
mine's probably a little bit more obscure, but it's a Hot Toys Star Wars figure. But it's the Solo Patrol Trooper. It's a very unique Stormtrooper design. It's got a black on the helmet, and he's kind of a mix between a biker scout and a stormtrooper. and I just it's a really cool design. So yeah, I mean, it's just in a display case that has a sea of stormtroopers in it, he kind of stands out. So, and that one just came out this year.
That says a lot.
Yeah,
cool. Oh, it's all hot toys. There you go. Not to mention the Kotobukias are fine, but okay, prop replica. So I mean, I guess I said prop, but if you have an original or whatever,
yeah, sure.
Prop replica. I feel like I don't know where we start and go. Barry, let's start with you.
I'll go with the Darth Maul lightsaber I got at Galaxy's Edge. It's a great replica of that lightsaber, and we were talking about it. I had some friends over around the holidays, and they were all looking at it, and they couldn't believe the price point. I mean, they kind of know what the Master Replicas ones went for, and these are just such an amazing deal. And the fact that if you put blades in them, they light up too. It's just like unbelievable the quality that they've been able to get out of the sabers they're selling at Galaxy's Edge. I guess it's just a factor of mass production. The fact they're making so many of them, they can afford to do it. But they're super affordable, and they're really, really great replicas. So I'm thrilled with this thing.
I had mine on the list. I got the Luke Jedi one. I tell everything you said is absolutely right. I mean, they easily could have made like plastic ones that looked pretty good and sold them for $75, and they'd sell 1 million of them.
They could also have these same ones and sell them for $300, and they'd sell a lot of them. But
I think they nailed the price point on this, and
they totally did.
Yeah.
They totally did, and they're functional. I mean, you could light them up if you want. It's not, it seems sort of out of character for Disney to like really give you something that was really worth the money you paid for.
It's almost like
shirts are $40.
It's almost like if the Wand Company made lightsabers, kind of thing.
Yeah,
yeah. And
they did a great job with them.
Really, really good.
So I agree with that. But I'm going to go with the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm going to pick my Blade Runner blaster that I think that's from this year, isn't it?
Yep.
So Tamosuki.
Yep.
They came out with. They've been making some. This seemed to be a little bit more of a mass-produced one. It's super expensive, but it's super accurate, and they just did an amazing job. We've talked about it on the show.
What about you, Todd? You have one?
Yep. I'm going to go with. Here we go. Here 3. There we go. Okay. The replica Tony Stark arc reactor from the first Iron Man film. Dave, you got one too, I think, right?
I have one, yeah.
And it's just great. It wasn't crazy expensive, and it's pretty well done, and I really like it. I seriously thought about going with the Gary 7 pen, which I got to say, you guys found this for me when we were in Rhode Island, and I just love this thing. It's it's one of these things that like very few people will know what it is, but I just love it. And
the fact that we've been talking about that for years, and the fact that we both found one within like 6 months is amazing, because they certainly don't make them anymore.
Yeah,
they haven't made them in a long time.
Yeah,
and it's a super obscure thing too.
Yeah, and I don't know whether it was awesome, one of you guys or Brian that spotted this, but it was great that you did, because like I said, I'm super psyched to have it. So
I really want that Tony Stark arc reactor, and I held off buying the one that you guys got because Hot Toys announced one around Endgame, and then it's never gone up for pre-order.
Yeah,
they actually announced a couple of different.
How much are they going to charge?
But they never said, but they announced a couple of life-size pieces like that. They had the Captain Marvel pager thing that they announced. A couple of those.
I still haven't built mine.
They had the Spider-Man remote spiders. They announced all that stuff, and then none of it ever came up.
What did we pay for these things? $150? $125?
Yeah, they weren't. It was like I think mine was $1.25, and yours was like $150. I got in early, and but yeah.
I love the fact that there's these companies building this stuff. I guess out of mostly China, Hong Kong, or wherever. That kind of stuff. Back to the clothes, the Star Trek clothes. That
it's amazing what you can do when you don't have to worry about licensing.
Yeah.
I guess so.
I may have to go back and get the one you guys got, just because I really want one. But I thought, if they're making a licensed one, I'll wait. But
it is great. They did a super good job with it
for one.
So
yeah,
not that we condone unlicensed nuclear reactors on our back, but
yeah.
Nothing's wrong with that.
Yep.
So, was that everybody?
That was everybody.
I think that was everybody.
Couple
I
more
got
categories.
a honorable mention to my cage communicator. Cause
that is
very
really
happy
sweet.
to have that.
Yeah, that one's cool.
Yeah.
I'm close to pulling the trigger on that.
Okay, show or event. Todd, that was your category, so you had something in mind.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Star Wars Celebration. Seriously.
No,
Absolutely seriously.
Seriously?
I will.
Okay.
I do not think I will ever go to another one, but it was. I'm really glad I went. I'm glad I went. I had a good time. It was great hanging out with you guys, and you know, it was just a lot of fun, and it was very interesting to me. Again, I'm never going to be the Star Wars fan either of you guys is. I'm never going to come close to that, but it was a very interesting sociological experiment. Just kind of go there and seeing. I mean, there are people who this is their religion. This is what they live and breathe. And I know you guys both say that to some degree, but you have other interests too. And there were a lot of people there that is what they live for. And
well, that's what makes it great.
It really is. And it's
totally immersive.
It is totally immersive. And I got to say, you know, I've been thinking a lot about the new film, and I was thinking, I am so glad they did this for the fans. They really did. I mean, they made a movie that was largely fan service, but you know what? That's a good thing. That's not, you know, that's not a bad thing. You think of I don't think most of the people there, very few of the people that were at that show were disappointed when they walked out of the theater 2 weeks ago. And
I agree with that.
You know, so I think it's just, like I said, it's great to have something you care about that much. So I'm
one of the things that
I'm
I've
really
always
glad I went. It was a great time. So
it's one of the things I've always enjoyed about the Star Wars celebrations is that they are so immersive, and I think most of the shows we go to, like even when we go to New York Comic Con, like a day is enough. But like Star Wars Celebration, you need like 3 full days. Like it's not, you can't do that show in 2 days or a day.
To me, they're almost the complete opposite thing. You know, New York Comic Con is just totally superficial. It's just like stuff. Buy stuff, see stuff, quick.
Yeah.
And, you know, you could spend 10 minutes or an hour in one corner of Star Wars Celebration and just be fully immersed in stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
A cosplay thing, a searching for it's just... I think they're on the opposite ends of the spectrum. I mean, we always go to New York Comic Con, but if you had to drop one convention, I would drop that one. There's not much to it. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, since the very first celebration that I've went to, and I've been to all the ones I've gone to, I've been with you, Dave. We came out of that saying this is like the greatest show we've ever been to, and I still feel that way every time we go to one. I'm already starting to think about the fact that there's one this year, and we currently have no plans of attending it.
I'm not ruling it out at this point in my life. We'll see. You never know. There's ways to go. Look at Daryl. He went with two days left to go when he went.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you got? You pick Rhode Island, and then I got nothing.
All right, I was going to say if you picked Rhode Island, I had a third choice, but I'll go with Rhode Island.
Go ahead. Rhode Island, it's great. Listen to the show. You love it. You know how much we love it. And Carl Weathers is going to be there. The funny thing is, Carl Weathers was there last year. Was he there last year or the year before?
It was the year before.
Or was he somewhere else?
But I just can't believe they're already announcing guests for the convention in November.
Yeah. It's the biggest show in the little estate.
I saw some comment after they posted that was, "Oh, it's Rhode Island. He'll cancel 2 days before." So many people cancel on that show, especially when they book this far in advance. But yeah, so all right. So you picked Rhode Island?
Yeah.
Okay. The topic was show or event, right? So
yeah.
I'm gonna.
Sure.
That's what I thought it was. Anyway, I'm gonna go with going to Galaxy's Edge. To me, which was an event.
Okay, that's actually that's why I said show or event, because I thought I expected one of you was going to go there.
And again, I know we've talked about it extensively, so I won't dwell on it, but it was not about going on the Falcon ride. Seeing the Falcon was one of the greatest things of my life. The ride's fine. It's the environment, and it's the way they built everything, and how when you walk in, you feel like you are in another place, and that's I spent probably 5 hours there, and I probably could have stayed there the whole day, and I'm really looking forward to going back. So They did it right.
I know, especially when this Rise of the Resistance. When is it? It opens soon,
It's open
right?
in Florida, and I think it's opening in California this month. Or vice versa, but it's open in
Florida.
one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go down. We'll figure that out.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, the last thing we had is acquisition. Todd, I think you mentioned acquisition.
I did acquisition because I thought like anything that's not something that we've already defined, specifically, and it doesn't even have to be something that you bought. It could just be something that you ended up with, or
I have a good answer for that. I'm curious Todd doesn't tend to throw categories out unless he has something in mind.
I will tell you. No, I will tell you. I had a different thing in mind. I had a different thing in mind than what I've settled on. I was just thinking, not an action figure, not a prop. What else would fit in there, and what would be, again, that thing that from this year that is significant to you that you just, and anyways, I have something.
That's fine.
But
I have something too, so go ahead.
I'm going ahead?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure. Okay. Early this year, Daryl gave me 2 animation cells from Batman the Animated Series, and they are among the things that I prize the most. I love that show. I've already mentioned something from that show, but I love that series. I have them in a place where I see them every single day, and it's one of those things. It was very generous of him, but it gives me joy every time I look at them, and so that was So it's I shoehorned that into there. So
That's mine's even more obscure than that.
Okay,
Barry.
I talked about it already, so I won't spend a lot of time on it, but I did get a new guitar this year, and I don't buy new guitars that often.
Yep.
The guitar that I got this year, it's a Gibson ES335. It is. I have not been more in love with an instrument in a really, really long time. So I knew I wanted it, but I couldn't even have imagined how much I was going to love it once I got it. And I've been playing the crap out of it. So
that's great.
That's mine. Yeah,
that's great.
Dave?
All right, I took this in a completely different direction, so I don't want to acquire. I'm gonna say my new friend, who's my cat. 2019 was a very tough year. I lost both my pets, and we rescued a new cat. So I've acquired a new best friend, and his name's Orion, which I talked about. And he's not. You guys have met him. He's not the most outgoing, friendly cat, but this guy makes me smile every single day. He's hysterical.
That's great.
And go rescue a pet.
Yes.
That's all I got to go to the SPCA. There's plenty of great animals out there. They all need nice homes, so do yourself a favor. And I know a lot of people do, but
cats. And boy, I tell you, cats in particular. There's so many. There's so many cats.
Yeah. So,
cool.
Todd, Barry, you need a cat.
I don't know how well my dog would get along with a cat.
Maybe you'll keep him in line.
Maybe.
Yep. There you go.
After the renovations, I'm not bringing anything
this.
else into this house until after we renovate. So,
Todd came up with. Go ahead. Why don't you explain?
So the last
category?
one is, and this is because people are doing their decade lists now because they can't do math and they think decades end with a 9-year, not a 10-year. But so they're making their decade lists, and I was thinking, what film doesn't have to be the best film, doesn't have to be your favorite film, but a film of significance from the last decade that you think is important and you really appreciate, and that would be your pick. I got to say, mine is not what. I mean, you guys should go first, but yeah, go ahead. Why
don't you go and set the stage for us? What's your pick? And then
okay, I'm actually going to go with from 2012. I'm going to go with the Avengers. I think that's something that they've definitely moved beyond that. They've done a lot of other things since then, but that movie is the culmination of building in the way no studio has ever done before, and it was like an absolute perfect moment on film. They did the films to build up to it. They earned it, and then they delivered on it. And what came afterwards was a little inconsistent and spotty, but I just that film is a joy every time I watch it. It was something I never thought I would see ever, like live action superheroes done that well. And there's just, I mean, who can see Tony Stark say clench up Legolas and not just not just feel like it's an awesome thing. But anyways, so that would be mine.
Good choice.
I can go. You want to go? Whatever.
You go.
I'm gonna, in that same vein of not necessarily my favorite, not that I don't think it's great, but I'm saying Guardians of the Galaxy, 2014. Here's a movie that the Marvel franchise proved that they're doing their B-level superheroes the right way. I never heard of this before in my life.
This is
I had
D-level,
no idea.
Dave. This is D.
No. What I'm saying, B-level meaning Iron Man and Captain
Right.
America and those guys. But this is something I never heard of before, and went into it like, what are they doing with this? And to be so thoroughly entertained, so thoroughly fully fleshed out characters, including animated characters, or not
right.
CGI characters that have more personality than Martin Scorsese will ever have. And it's just, I could watch that. I just watched it the other day. I could watch it every time it's on, and I laugh at
I
the
feel
same
exactly
things
the same way
every time it's on.
And it was actually one that
And
I considered for exactly all the reasons that you just said. And
they took something that's so obscure and made it so good that it's just it just sums up Marvel and how well they've been able to do things
totally.
Over the past
absolutely
12 years.
Yep.
Did you see what Ricky Gervais said about Martin Scorsese the other night, about how he's comparing them to theme park rides, but yet how would he know, because he can't get on the rides, he's too small.
Nice.
That was great.
That's true.
Well, mine's going to surprise nobody, and I had a bunch of other movies that I teetered back and forth with, but I think I have to go with The Force Awakens from 2015, only because
that is a surprise.
You think so?
I thought you were going to go with Rogue One.
You know what? It was one of my top 5, but I think the first movie out of the gate for Disney with Star Wars, it had huge expectations. I think for the most part, just about everybody came away saying, yeah, okay, they did it. Now, some people said, oh, it was a little safe or whatever, but very few people came away from that one going, oh my God, you've raped my childhood the way they did with the prequels and everything else. And I think that he did a great job moving that whole story forward. Forget about what came later, but that could have been a disaster. And, in a lot of ways, kind of like Avengers and some of the Marvel stuff, set up this whole, future of Marvel. Force Awakens really did that for Star Wars in a big way, and J.J. Abrams really knocked it out of the park.
Totally agree. That was almost the same way I was going.
Yeah.
Those characters, I say this all the time, how he fully defined characters that he built, regardless of the repetitive story, but Rey's my second favorite Star Wars character. I mean, so fully developed. I totally agree with that. That was something that was a big chance.
Yep.
Yes. And I'll tell you, I you look back at the whole thing, and we've already done shows about this, but the great sin of the series was not having a cohesive, plan for all, or following through in a cohesive plan for all three films. But you take his two films, and he did a really, really good job with those characters. And
he understands Star Wars in a way that the other director didn't. I mean, he just understands it.
And that was the last point I was going to make, is he is equally respective of the new characters and the legacy characters, which you cannot say that of the middle film. So,
Good choice.
Yeah, very good choice.
Well, that's everything. So let us know your thoughts if you have favorites from 2019, any of these categories or other stuff. Love to hear all about all that kind of stuff. I am not asking if there's a last thought, or am I?
You don't have to. Not for me.
No.
Good, because we're long as it is. So that's really everything. Next week, I have no idea.
It's a mystery.
Does anyone have an idea?
No.
It's a mystery.
We'll have to talk about it.
We'll have to figure that out. But check out us on. We're putting all the galleries from the episodes are on our website, regularjoes.com. Check that out. Check us out on Instagram. All that good stuff. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.